Two boys, one podcast. Two boys, one podcast. Your movie connection. When it's time for reflecting, we make fun of each other. Then do film reviews. Winner or loser. Is this movie right for you? Nope, it sucks. Don't press your luck. You better listen to us. Two boys, one podcast.
Welcome to Two Boys, One Ghoul, One Ghost,
and one podcast.
and one podcast.
And
Welcome, everyone.
one hunk of junk. It's interesting. I think the creepiest thing of this type of season when we do this podcast of yours is that
It's a little thing I like to call Halloween.
Well, it's mostly that the song is singing about us, and that's disturbing somehow.
Yeah. No. Wow, Halloween again, huh?
Well, we made it around the calendar one more time, I guess. It's just like a birthday.
It is. It's the Spooktacular number 60, I think.
Is it really 6? Wow.
Maybe even 7. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's a lot of Spooktaculars.
It's a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. It's a lot of them. Some might say too many.
Well, some would be wrong. They'd be very wrong.
I mean,
Don't you? It's my favorite time of year.
it's a good time of year. Yeah.
Good. I'll take good. Okay.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
are you
I
doing this year?
really enjoy fall, and while I don't enjoy being cold, I enjoy other things that the cold outside lets me do inside. You know, I like warm blankets, sweaters, coziness.
Yeah. Soups.
Yeah. That's been good.
Snuggles from your sweetheart.
Yeah, what do you call it?
Yeah. You remember.
I did. I remembered. Yeah.
Look at you. Look at you with a memory. Wow.
I memory things.
You
I do it sometimes. I do good sometimes.
You do great lots of times, buddy. You are just spectacular. I love you. The world loves you.
Yeah, I'm just a goddamn ray of sunshine. It's great.
Yeah. Listen to you. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Back, buddy. I'm glad we do this thing. I'm glad
Yeah,
that
me too.
Without you, I wouldn't watch horror films ever. So
Well, that's sad.
what a horrible reality that would be.
It would be a horrible reality.
Yeah.
What are you doing this year? What'd you do? I know you went to a couple parties.
Yeah, we had a couple parties. We had a couple costumes. We went out oot and a boot, you know. Oot and a boot. And yeah, it's a good time. We made some dishes. We did some dishes, and ate a lot of candy. Yeah.
What kind of candy?
I think Snickers is the front runner this year. They are not a sponsor of this podcast. So
No?
Yet. No.
We should get them.
Yeah, I think they listen. They're on the fence.
Yeah, Mr. Snicker.
Yep.
Mr. Snicker, come on.
I think his first name's Frank. Frank Snickers.
Frank Snickers.
Yeah.
Good guy. We love Frank Snickers on this show.
Yeah.
Big fans of Frank Snickers.
Yep. Big fan.
You dressed up as a witch and a wizard, is that correct?
Yeah, I went as a less Hagrid.
Okay. Is your beard all big and stuff right now?
It is. Big bushy beard.
Great big bushy beard. Good.
Great big bushy beard. Yeah.
What the places you went, were they all decked out and with Halloween drinks and treats and stuff?
Yeah, they were. The first one certainly. The Supreme Dingus doesn't throw the party he used to because I don't. Yeah. I feel it's like a personal slight he's taking on me by doing that. But
yeah,
that's
sure.
fine.
Well, it probably is. He is the dingus.
He's a grudge holder like that. He also hates Halloween, and he's not here to defend himself. So I'm going to take that as a fact.
It's a fact, Dingy.
Yep. But no, I mean we used to do this deal over his place where he'd really went all out for Halloween.
I remember hearing
where
about it.
He would. Were you never there for one?
Never
Oh,
made it.
you were in Afton.
I was in the corner of Afton and Afton, yeah.
Yeah, so he like October 1st he'd start setting up his lawn, and then he had these like scarecrow type Grim Reapers that he would leave out in the lawn.
I'm familiar. Yep.
And then Halloween night, we'd set fog machines out, or he would do it if I wasn't there to help, and then we would take the position of these scarecrow Grim Reapers that had been there all month for the kids to kind of get acclimated to and know that they're not real. And we would just hold these positions as they would walk past. And then when they came back through, we'd scare the bejesus out of them.
The old bait and switch.
Yeah, we do the old bait and switch. And it was great because we did it for a few years, and parents would bring their children back and like shoo them up the yard. And then they'd start recording. Because they wanted to get video of us just giving their children nightmares. It was great. It was wonderful.
Parents.
Like all the candy they'd worked so hard for was like strewn about in the air, and then it was like a cartoon. Like their shoes were in the air. There was a smoke trail leading down the sidewalk. It was wonderful.
They tried to run, but they went. They couldn't get their footing, and they ran in place for a second before they could take off.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And then you could hear this like zing!
Trail of smoke down the block.
Yep.
Cool.
It was a good time. So
Damn
much
it, Dingus.
Fun. So much fun that Dingus just decided that I didn't need that in my life anymore.
In your life. And you did need it.
So
you do need it.
He quit doing it. It's fine. It's fine.
He's a meanie.
Fine. Yep.
We're all fine here.
How about you? What'd you guys do?
Nothing. No, we were going to go out last night. We had some costumes ready, and Victoria wasn't feeling well, so
Oh no.
I just watched some horror movies, which is fine.
Did you rewatch the ones we're going to talk about today?
I rewatched Rise. I did, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because I had a 48-hour rental, so I figured, what the heck? I'll watch that again.
What the hooey?
Yeah.
That sucks that you couldn't go out. What were your costumes going to be?
That was like a voodoo priest and priestess.
Oh. Well, what's the name of that movie you always recommend to me? Something Serpent of the Rainbow?
I don't know if I recommended Serpent in the Rainbow, yeah.
Yeah. Never seen it.
Bill Pullman, you love him. You're always talking about, oh, Billy, gosh, Independence Day, and while you were sleeping. Was he in that?
I think he
Maybe.
was.
And
isn't he the president? Independence
yeah, he's
Day?
the president. And yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, I quote him every year.
That is true.
So, While You're Sleeping isn't a bad movie.
No, that's not. My sister was a big fan of it, so I watched it a lot as a kid.
Sure.
I got a lot of confused feelings about Sandra Bullock.
What are you confused about?
Well, I was just like a young boy, and I don't know. She was a pretty lady, and I was just figuring it out,
Neat.
Yeah.
All right.
I still have a crush on her.
What's that?
I still have a crush on her.
Well, I mean, that's okay. I think she probably is a huge fan of this podcast, so she has a crush on you as well.
Hi, Sandra.
Yeah. Give a shout out to old Sandy.
Sandy. She's so congenial.
Yeah. She's very congeniality.
Yeah. So anyways, this is the Halloween special, and we throw away the rules. And
the Spooktacular. This goes
Spooktacular.
off book for us. There are two. Well, sometimes there's more than two.
At least two. Minimum
two specials.
of two.
Minimum of two specials we do over the course of the year. We throw the book out. And I think we should probably restate the rules on our next regular show so that people can not have to listen from the beginning.
Sure. We should probably do it every episode like regular podcasts.
Like regular podcasts do. So this.
I used to try to do that, but
yeah, we can try. We
didn't
don't
stick.
Really
It
follow
didn't
a
stick.
script.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's
We
fine.
do us. Everything's fine.
We do us sometimes better than other people do.
I would say frequently we do ourselves better than other people. Frequently.
I do an okay impression of myself. We'll see. We'll see how I do next time.
Depends if I'm on or not.
Yeah, I gotta ask the Magic 8 Ball.
Shake that up.
And sometimes it's like, don't even ask,
Inquire later.
Yeah. Probably not. So.
Anyway, so I get to pick 3 movies here, and then for the 12 Days of Die Hard, Zeke gets to pick 3 movies. Formerly 5. Second year of 3 movies.
Yeah, I mean, without SD involved today, we should have oomped it back up to 5, but...
We could have gotten every single... This year we're watching Evil Dead, 1981 Evil Dead, 2013 Rise of the Evil Dead. And had we done the 5, we could have gotten all 5.
It would have been the first time that we've recovered a previously covered movie. You see what you've done to us, SD. You took something away. It would have been beautiful.
You ruined us.
You ruined the day.
We're ruined.
Ruined. That's fine. That's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's all fine.
Stated.
I was having a discussion yesterday on how this typically goes because we all have different lives. And I still have your birthday present.
Yeah.
Because we have not seen each other for months.
A long time.
And then SD, when we did Buckaroo Banzai, brought gifts for us, but wanted to give it to us together. So
he's still holding on to them.
So I still have those. He's not holding on to them. He let them go, and I have them now. I have a Halloween Spooktacular gift for the 2 of you that I guess I'll just keep hanging on to.
Boy, Christmas is going to be a great.
Yeah,
it's the most magical time of the year.
It might be, but I can tell you what, I'm not getting any of you gifts for Christmas.
Why not?
Because I already have gifts for the rest of the year.
No, but it doesn't matter. That's not how it works.
It might be.
You'll be getting presents too. We're going to have to get a little 2 boys tree, and we'll put all of our little presents under there, and then
a little ornament of the 2 of us.
As we're doing our Don DeLuise
with the ghost of SD.
Open a present.
Yep. Oh my God! What did you call it? Is it it's a prairie oyster or some garbage we have to add to it now?
Prairie oyster. It's the Johnny Carson.
It's Johnny Carson. It's a Dom DeLuise. It's a lot. What it is it's a lot, and we end up. I mean, it's a good celebratory thing. We don't have any plans the next day because we usually wake up a little later than normal.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
Halloween might have been the same if we could ever get together for it.
Yeah, that's fine. We should get dressed up and do it in costumes sometime so they can watch it in their mind's eye over a podcast that they don't see visually.
It's perfect.
I think the fans would all appreciate that.
Yeah, they would.
We would. We could do it again.
And so we shall. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Alrighty. Well, you ready to dive into this old son of a bitch?
Let's Evil Dead dive into this. Yeah. I feel like the beginning is a very good place to start. How about you?
Yeah, I figured we'd probably just go in order.
That works for me.
Here we go. Evil Dead, 1981.
It was before our time.
It's before we was born, even.
It's even before our time.
We was just little twinkles in our pappy's eye.
So it's written and directed by... I do. Do you want me to read it?
Okay. Yeah.
It's very long. It's very long and robust. 5 friends travel to a cabin in the woods where they unknowingly release flesh-possessing demons. Written and directed by Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, Richard DeMoniker star. So...
Demoniker. Ooh.
Demoniker. Demanicore?
Demaniker.
I'm sure how to say it, but 81.
Manicore.
What started as an indie became a franchise.
It was a short before it was a movie, and you probably knew that.
So that's what I thought, because we covered Evil Dead 2.
We did, yeah.
Early on in this podcast lineage.
Number 2 or so.
Yeah, and I have not seen the short. Have you seen the short?
No, I haven't. I don't think it's very easy to find. But I've never really looked either. So
I guess
Into the Woods or something,
I
I think it's called.
I meant to ask you, did it start as a short on paper, or did they make a short and then
they made a short?
They made the short. Okay. So they've remade this film even more times than I thought.
I guess so, yep.
So it's interesting, like the Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi the reason they go way back is because of this movie.
Childhood friends.
And Bruce Campbell put up his family's property in northern Michigan as collateral so that Sam not only could finish the film, but also blow it up to 35 millimeter film, which was required for theatrical release. Raimi was so grateful for Campbell's financial contribution that he credited him as co-producer. That is both unreal, but also I laughed because that's kind of how Ghostbusters gets the firehouse location. Is Dan Aykroyd's character puts up the family cabin as collateral.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
And then I believe they don't address it necessarily, but they're destitute by the time the sequel rolls around. So
kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine doing that these days? Yeah.
No, it'd be.
No.
I think it probably happens quite a bit, and people don't talk about it because it's shameful, and a lot of bad luck can go with it. But filmmaking brings out the worst kind of luck typically. But you hear about the good ones, right? Like Rodriguez
That's a good point, yeah.
in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, when he put the whole movie on credit cards. You get Clerks, or no, it was Mallrats, right? Or was it Clerks first? It
was Clerks.
Clerks. So you get literally putting your life and your family's future in gonna lay it. You're not betting red or black. You're betting on green hitting, and sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. So, but good for Bruce and good for Sam.
I'm sure glad they did.
Yeah. I mean,
really worked out for Sam.
What's that?
Really worked out for Sam.
I mean, I think it worked out for both of them. I mean, Bruce Campbell...
I mean, it did, but Sam came out a little better than he did.
Sort of. I mean, I think Bruce got... So it's interesting. Like, Sam... I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think they probably want different things. Sam is one of the few people who's done multiple trilogies of films, or at least been associated with them.
Yeah.
So he had Darkman, he had Spider-Man, and he had this. And I mean, this, I think the core of it still counts as a trilogy, right? And then there's remakes.
Yeah.
But not many people. You look at like Sylvester Stallone, you get Vin Diesel, you get I think there's a couple others. There aren't many people who've done at least 3 trilogies out there.
I suppose that's true.
So, and then Bruce Campbell, he got a book out of it. He got several
books,
spin-offs. He's kind of an iconic face. I think you could.
That's true.
He's very recognizable. He's been in a lot of TV shows, been in a lot of movies. Probably more recognizable than Sam, even though Sam's career is different.
That's true. I'd recognize him.
You would.
And his brother.
Well, they kind of look the same.
Yeah, they do. They sure do.
But yeah.
So, anyways, I would think most people are familiar with the Evil Dead. They're a bunch of friends. They go to the woods to a cabin, spending the weekend. They all of a sudden the cellar. It's a dilapidated cabin, not super dilapidated, but run down. It's the 80s, early 80s. All of a sudden the cellar door opens up on its own. They go down there, investigate. They find a book, a really weird-looking book, and they read from it, and they release something that starts possessing them. And then poor Ash has to one by one kill his friends that have become demons
and sister.
Because they were sister.
right? I'm pretty sure there was a...
Yeah, it was his sister, yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird line. They didn't make much reference to it. There was one line where made it seem like it was his sister.
Yeah, it was.
So, there were the opening scene where the demon seems to come out of the water or fly over water and through the woods. That's kind of
the classic tracking, the iconic shot.
Yeah, and that's replicated both in Evil Dead 2 and also in the Evil Dead. Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't have the title in there called Still Dead, Still Evil, but that's fine. They didn't ask me.
Next one, Zeke.
I feel like there's some rules that they disavow, or they should implement and don't. Number one, leave the creepy cabin, for God's sake. It's like, I don't understand why everybody in a horror film is stupid.
Bridge was out.
Two,
Bridge
you
was
just
out.
can't draw on... It wasn't when they started.
Well,
It was fine.
by the time they knew, it was too late.
Well, it's because they're stupid. Two, you just can't draw on paper like that. It's bad for the demon paper. Like, you can't stab draw. People don't do that.
Linda does.
They have this weird thing in this movie. I don't know if it happens in Evil Dead 2, but it does happen in Evil Dead where the woman is essentially raped by the woods.
Yeah. Nope, doesn't happen in 2.
It doesn't happen in 2?
It does not. No.
It doesn't really... I don't understand. Like, there's a lot of the possession that it doesn't make sense to me. Like that... Like, so the initial person is possessed, but then if they cut or stab anybody,
but not always, or if you get fluid on them, sometimes that does.
Yeah, or fluid, then it affects them. Unless it's the lead character hero.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, he's Ash, He's Ashley.
Ashley. Yep. So that's fine. I did really like the line. They kept saying, like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her eyes? And I was like, she's dead. It's because she's dead.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, what about the eyes? Like, the flesh is rotting off the body, but yes, the eyes are white and dead looking. It's because they're dead.
Well, eyes are windows to the soul, my friend.
Well, not if the soul's not there anymore. It's vacant. The soul's vacant.
Somewhere in hell. She suffers.
So they go to this cabin in the woods. They find this tape recorder left by the previous owner, which is really weird because they seemingly went to this location with permission, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like a setup somehow. They go to the basement where this guy's left his recordings of, like, I've resurrected this demon from the woods,
old
blah,
professor
blah, blah.
fellow. Sumerian demons.
Yeah, and
Kandarian, maybe.
They're like, oh, what would be great is if we take this human flesh-covered book upstairs and listen to it more.
Yeah, there was a recording.
Because they're stupid.
Of it being translated.
And it's like, one of the translation is like, the act of bodily dismemberment. And it says, we're going to get you. Let's keep reading.
You got to suspend your disbelief, my friend.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'd like to believe that the rules set up in the movie are the rules that I'm believing in, but then they break their own rules, and then there's nothing left to believe in. But I did like the line, "Shut up, Linda," being shouted. When she's
taunting him.
Yeah, pushing up the cellar door and whatnot. There were a lot of really cool shots, like the iconic tracking shot through the woods and over the water. On stairs from underneath as Ashley's walking up. The clock from behind the whatever you call the ticking thing. I thought that was cool. And then the upside down shot of Ashley as he's walking outside. Yep. What I didn't like is that Ash got hurt multiple times. He was they like moved this door block bench in front of the door to keep the demon out. Literally moments after both of the front windows had been broken entirely. So
Yep.
I didn't love that at all. But overall, I mean, it is what they did. It seemed, honestly, it seemed very Tim Burton-y. I thought it was a cool movie, certainly for its time.
Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, I mean the way that they did I'm assuming the way that they did the rotting flesh was stop motion. It looked stop motion. It looked very much like a Beetlejuice kind of thing. So I thought that was cool.
For me, I haven't watched this in a long, long time. I mean, of course, I've seen it before multiple times, but it's probably been, I don't know, more than 5 years. How much it strikes me as an old 70s movie, like Black Christmas or something. It still has that, you know, it's 81, so it still has that feel of it. But I've never really heard of it, but it seems like it must be a bit of a groundbreaking in the sense that it sort of really does a lot of different things, like the amount of practical effects and gore and the ideas of it. I can't think of anything around that time. I'm probably wrong, but
no, I mean, I think
it seems like it started a whole new, a whole new movement or wave of.
It is very different than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's different than Freddy.
Yeah.
It's different than Friday. It's different than Halloween.
Yeah.
I think in the trivia, I made a note. They had Andy Granger, who was a friend of both Sam and Bruce, said, "Fellas, no matter what you do, keep the blood running down the screen." So they included a scene with a finished film where the blood runs down the projector screen as a tribute.
Yeah.
And I think
nice.
I think this one did use 300. Was it 300 gallons of blood?
Did they? Wow.
No, that seems high. Yeah. So, looking at the trivia for the next one. Well, the Evil Dead in their trivia, it did say that movie used 70,000 gallons of fake blood, and in an interview they said that compared to 200 to 300 gallons used in the original.
Okay.
So like 300 gallons is a lot.
It is a lot.
70,000 is a lot, but my goodness, it's a lot of blood.
It's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
I wonder how much The Shining used.
How much? Which one? Which one?
The Shining?
I don't have that number. Let me find out.
Well, what the hell, dude? Where's the dingus?
Do you have any other quotes or favorite parts you wanted to share? Because you really like this is one of your favorite franchises, right?
Yeah, it sure is. I just like. I love how the demons, the Deadites, that has become known. I think Army of Darkness is when they coined that, possibly in 2, but I don't recall. It's been a while since I've seen that at 2. But how they're very taunting and crass. Killer if you can, lover boy. When Ash is trying to kill his girlfriend, his sister or whatever is taunting him, saying, you don't have it. That was my one quote.
Nice. I did find 3,000 gallons of fake blood in The Shining.
Okay.
I'm getting conflicting reports. SD is going to correct us, but it's not going to matter because he's not here. It looks like the It Chapter 2 set the record back in 2022.
Really?
Taking it away from Evil Dead 2013.
Oh, interesting. Evil Dead Rise didn't beat that?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I thought I swore I remember hearing that Evil Dead Rise set the new record when it came out, but
that's what I was thinking, because that scene has a lot of blood.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of blood all over.
6,500 liters of blood were used.
Liters.
So
6,500 liters, 4 liters.
So they only
Liters
used
don't convert to gallons.
1,700 gallons. It looks like
On rice?
on Rise,
Oh, okay. All right. Whatever.
and they made it in an industrial-sized kitchen to store and cook it up quickly.
Way to blow it, Rise. God.
But the Evil Dead 2013, like if that's real, I don't know how anything could come close to 70,000. But then, it Chapter 2 beat that.
I don't remember there being that much blood in it. Chapter 2. I would have thought 1 would have had more. But... Deleted scenes.
That doesn't seem right. Like that can't possibly be 70,000 gallons. I bet that's a misprint, because looking online it says 4,500 gallons of fake blood were used on set, which is still, so 4,500 gallons on It Chapter 2. 70,000 seems astronomically high.
It does indeed.
But yeah, that's all the notes I had on The Evil Dead. I had to go buy the DVD because it's not streaming anywhere that I can find.
Oh, good for you.
Where do you watch it?
Good one for the... Oh, yeah, I own it.
Oh, you already had it? Yeah. So yeah, now it's part of my collection as well. That's true. I should have known. I should have known it was true.
I had them all, baby. Well, not Rise.
Well, now I have Rise.
Oh, cool. All right. Some of the things I mentioned is as we go forward, how the next movies reference it. The locket that Ash gives to his girlfriend makes an appearance in the next movie, Evil Dead 2013. And then some of the quotes as we go further on and such are referenced. Yeah, it's got really cool, like the scene with the blood going down the projector screen, filling the light bulb, exploding. The special effects were just great. I mean, I suppose you could say the stop motion for some of the decomposition stuff is hokey, but I still...
No, I mean, you don't have to watch it through the lens of its day, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't outright love it, but I do appreciate all that it did and what it spawned from it.
Yep.
I think it was a very good, certainly a very good independent movie. I think it counts
certainly
as independent. Being that they had to leverage their own home to make it.
I know they went around to like car dealerships and stuff, and just wherever they talked to anyone that would be willing to contribute.
Well, you think of, I mean, they had to raise it all themselves, and I think you look around the other horror genres, and there's a lot of repeated beat to death sequels and genres, but this one it's been remade. If you count Evil Dead 2 sort of being a remake, it's been, and then the short film, and like there's a trilogy plus at least 3 versions of, or 2 at least. I mean, if you're being generous, two sequels. What's that?
I don't think Rise counts as a remake. I think that's a sort of like a Mad Max.
Okay.
Like it's set in the same universe, but it's not a remake.
Interesting. And then you have 3 seasons of the TV show.
Yep.
So, I mean, Bruce Campbell really, like, putting the house up as collateral, certainly, I think he probably came out okay on it. But
you're right. I take it back.
But it's
he didn't do as well as Sam, though.
I mean, Sam Raimi he's accomplished a lot. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty critical of some of the things that he's done.
I know.
But he has had the opportunity to keep working, and he's certainly very capable. When he knocks it out of the park, it's for real.
He sure does.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So I guess we can rate the old girl. Sex or the Saw. Of course, I'm giving it sex. A full blast from a single barrel shotgun.
Okay. I'm gonna, out of 299, which is my rating system because it makes sense. I'm going to give it.
So does mine.
$2.45. $2.45.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. Like it's certainly this time of year, it seems like a staple.
Yep. It's about as high as it goes for us.
I think it is. It's amongst the top of the line. So nice work on that one.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's going to increasingly go down, I bet. But let's see what happens, huh?
Yeah. The next one is 2013. It was more than a few years later, this remake.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read the synopsis?
Yes, read the synopsis.
Synopsis. All right, so this one is written and directed by, I think his name is Fede Alvarez. It's written by Rodo Sayaguis, and Sam Raimi also worked as a writer. 5 friends head to a remote cabin where the discovery of a book of the dead leads them to unwittingly summon up demons living in the nearby woods. It stars Jane Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, and Jessica Lucas. So
at least one of you, Levy, whatever her name. Yeah, she's known from other things.
Jane Levy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff, and I usually really, really like her in the stuff that she does. I did not love this movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I do like that they did practical effects, but so it's essentially the same concept, except instead of a bridge out, there's a river. And instead of going camping, it's more of an intervention. They're like stranding Jane's character to detox her rather than take her to a hospital. Same thing, they find this Book of the Dead amongst some hanging critters in the basement. Is it supposed to be the same cabin?
It's a good question.
Literally the same cabin?
No, not literally the same cabin.
Okay.
So I think this one is meant to be a remake, but now I get confused because they started to sort of retcon, maybe, from my understanding. So I'm not 100% sure this is also considered a remake. At the time, it definitely was. But anyways, Jane Levy, is that her name?
Jane Levy, yep.
Jane Levy, anyways, yeah.
Jane Levy, I think is what they should go by, but yeah.
Jane? Yeah. At least I can remember it that way.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was a family.
She's done some great work, and usually, like when I heard that I didn't really pay attention to this when it came out, and when I saw her name on the back of the movie case, I was like, oh man, I might actually like this movie. I was wrong, but
right.
It was interesting to see, I guess. I don't know, like looking at the trivia on this one, it looks like when Sam was pitched the possibility of a full-on remake, Bruce Campbell was not at all interested in doing it or in being involved, but he finally relented when they said that they were not recasting the role of Ash.
No, he wants a hold on that, huh?
I mean, I would.
Yeah, sure.
But I did think at two different points in this movie, I did think that they were going to do the chainsaw arm from Evil Dead 2. Yeah. And I think that's like the Evil Dead, like it's fine. Evil Dead 2 I really liked. I actually remember really liking that movie for the podcast.
Yeah, well, I've told you that that's why it's one of the movies that I think 2s are better than 1s in a lot of cases for horror franchises.
And in this movie, Evil Dead 2013, like they teased elements of 2 as much as 1, but they never really got there. It was more of just like this, another dime a dozen horror movie for me of Like just a bunch of kids in the woods. People should be dead. They're not dead. One woman literally just disappeared. I don't know what happened to her.
Talking about the nurse gal?
Yeah, the nurse gal. Like she gets possessed and then like, but
That's her
like
face.
Jane's character dies like 13 times. I don't know. I might be rounding. The other girl cuts her arm off with a meat saw. Takes a couple dozen nails to the head and then all over her body. She's fine. Jane's character is the one that also gets ravaged by the woods and possessed.
Yep. With a slug, it looked like.
It was a weird thing. It was like
a blood
venom.
clot or something. Yeah. Some sort of slimy glop.
Yeah.
As my buddy Joe Bob would say, slime glopola monster.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is like, I haven't seen enough horror, I guess, to know what to compare it to, but like I fervently believe that if you're going to do a remake and you can't make it better, then don't make it. And it seems like they were so focused on getting the blood record that nothing else really mattered.
There's plenty of blood, but I really got to disagree, and it is highly regarded as one of the better horror remakes. I went in when I saw it in the theater. Of course, I was very excited. I was expecting it to hate it, and I walked out being very neutral. I don't remember when I watched it the second time, but the second time I watched it, I really fell in love with it. It's a Halloween staple as much as heck, I watch it more than the first one. Is it better? I don't know if I would say it's better. I mean, no, it's not. But to me, for you to call it just another horror movie, Kids in the Woods, I really wouldn't. I disagree with you, sir. I think if it was its own thing and it hadn't come from Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, I think it would have been a great movie.
All right. I think there are too many cats that are dead for them to have stayed showing up. So I think this is another example of where they should have called the movie Camping with Idiots. I really don't understand why the Roots are a part of the thing, but
apparently that's it was just a reference to one, and that's how they initially take over. Apparently,
the knife cutting into the cheek with like the Ichi the Killer to an extreme, I thought was real creepy. That was a cool scene.
Okay, all right.
They honestly lost me with the barnyard heart surgery with duct tape, though. So,
that's fair. Yeah.
Same with the like when the girl cut her arm off, he just literally put duct tape on it. He's like, "You're gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this."
Well, I mean, that's any movie, man.
I get it, but I mean, it's the same rules not applying. Like he gets cut up several times, and he's fine until the end. Yeah. But then, like,
I can't defend.
She gets infected and cuts her arm off the same way that, like, you think, oh, this might be, like, whatever their version of Ashley is. And then the next time you see her, she's zombified. It was just a weird thing. It seemed like they were just trying to do a couple twists too many. And I would have preferred them to stick with one.
I enjoy hearing your points of view. Never really thought of it that way. Sure, I guess I can sort of see that. I don't necessarily agree that they make it detract from it in any way. But okay.
I mean, the guy that ends up killing the guy at the end died several times, and then
I don't know if he
Jane's
didn't die.
Character gets
real fucked up,
crushed. Like he literally bashes her head in with a broken sink, and she's fine somehow. And they're like, "I know you didn't mean to hurt her."
He got resurrected.
But no, this is before that. Like she's down in the basement. Like just like crying, and the girl to kind of bring the other girl in that had to cut her arm off to like entice her to come down the stairs. She's like crying. It's like everything's gonna be fine. We didn't mean to hurt you. She got her head bashed in with a sink repeatedly, and she shoved a 9-inch broken shard of glass mirror into this dude's chest. They're both fine. They're both just fine. So because the Book of the Dead is colored and Sauron's coming through flames in it, there's 3 rules that evidently fix everything. You can do a live burial, you can do the art of bodily dismemberment, or the purification through fire. So because Jane's there for an intervention, her brother, who evidently has mastered the art of abandonment her whole life, it's like, I'm going to fix this, I can do this. So first he tries to do bodily dismemberment. He's not really feeling up to that task. Then he sees this tree on fire and Moses isn't talking to him or anything. So then he's like, all right, we're not going to do purification through fire. I'm going to do a live burial. So he buries her. But first he makes this like makeshift defibrillation apparatus out of a car battery, 2 empty syringes, and a bunch of copper cable. And connects the red to the black and then shoves it. First he buries her alive. She gives him this whole spiel, backstory. He covers her up with dirt. Then he waits until the tree burns out, fire burns out. Then he digs her up again, and then puts the Quentin Tarantino defibrillation device into her chest, brings her back to life, and everything's fine and dandy until he goes inside to get the keys, and then he has to sacrifice himself, bursts into flame, and then the way this movie starts, I honestly didn't understand at all until the end, where there's this like ritual sacrifice of a daughter. Turns out she's an actual witch. The guy tries to kill her. I'm assuming it's at the same location. I don't know.
They showed the burn post, didn't they?
What's that?
At the beginning there, did they burn her? Didn't they show the burn post in the basement?
Oh, okay. So that's why I wasn't sure, because I just assumed that the whole thing would burn down.
No, it was very contained because of that whatever he put on her.
So then she comes back from the Book of Sauron and crawls out of the ground, and the rain's blood, 70,000 gallons of it evidently. And then she comes after Jane Levy's character, who is revived in the last one standing, has to cut her arm off because it gets crushed by a Jeep, and then gets the chainsaw, iconic ash chainsaw, that she happens to find in the garage after trying to be stabbed with a machete, and cuts this woman witch in half, stem to stern.
Personification. She needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deaths to be resurrected.
Yeah, like they snuck that in. Like, has to have 5 deaths. It just happens to be 5 people at the cabin. And because Jane was buried alive first, technically she died.
She died, yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't put it together that the creature was the gal from the beginning. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It didn't make sense to me, but I'm assuming it's the same person.
Cool.
I mean, I'm not saying it's just a horror movie. I mean, there's action movies that have the same thing too, where you're like, oh, you like literally crash into a window and it happens to be right on top of the villain. Like, that's garbage.
Yeah.
It just seems like it could have made sense and it didn't. But I still, it doesn't take anything away. I thought for the most part the acting was good. I thought the directing was good. I wish the writing, especially with Sam involved, would have been better. But I don't know if he actually worked on the writing or if the writing was credit for the previous work in the series that he'd done, like a story by credit. They didn't designate that. So. Well,
I mean, it follows the first one pretty well. I mean, the first one doesn't have much as writing goes, you know.
No, you're absolutely right. It doesn't. Yeah.
So to judge this one on writing, I mean, yeah. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was fine.
It's fine. We're all fine here. A couple of cool lines I liked from it from the beginning. Oh boy. I'll rip your soul out, Daddy. And I won't read that one. Feast on this motherfucker. That's a good one.
That was a good line. I liked the line at the beginning, cross your heart, and he says, hope to die.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a fun, like, yeah, of course, you're going to die.
Yeah. It does make some references to Evil Dead 81, the buckthorn locket that the brother gives to Eugene Levy. Supposedly buckthorn is good for your will, but it's a reference to the same locket.
You know what they say about will? Well, there's a will. There's usually a dead body.
Where there's a will, there's a Jada Pinkett Smith.
Well, not anymore, evidently.
That's what I've heard. There used to be. Times change.
No, I think the locket did directly tie back to the other one, right? Like the first one, it was like a mirror locket.
Yeah.
That's something I forgot to mention on that one. I did like when he held when Ashley was like pretending to be asleep and like they did the playful eye back and forth. Well, she was like going to take the gift from him. They did the same eye back and forth when she's possessed. And I was hoping for more of that style in the remake, and I didn't get any of it. Like they didn't have any of the cool shots on the stairs, like the creative camera work that went into the Evil Dead. I didn't see in Evil Dead.
Sure, yeah, that's fair.
But the locket did come back into play. Like they had the same. It was laid on the ground the same way. It was like just another thing that was there that didn't really matter, but it was the same. Like the clock was the same.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. All right, why don't you give her a little rating there, buddy?
Yeah, the last thing that I have written down that I liked of this one was at the very end after the credits, they have a silhouette of Sam Raimi I keep saying Sam Raimi, of Bruce Campbell, and he just turns to the camera and says, "Groovy." I thought that was cool.
Both this one and Rise, they kind of start using the catchphrases, which they didn't really use until Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, Evil Dead 2 is a remake, right? Because...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they classify that, to be honest. I think it must be, yeah.
It's got to be... I mean, for me, it's got to be an actual remake of the Evil Dead, because the Evil Dead, at the end, he gets possessed. Like, it's game over. It's a full circle thing. Nobody makes it out.
Yeah.
So then Evil Dead 2 is more of a campy,
reboot,
fun remake of like catchphrases. Like they make it kind of more of an action. It's like the Reanimator, right? Like it's more of it has nothing to do with the sequel. Seems like a complete separation from the prequel.
It does, yeah.
And this one seemed more of like just number one, but then they kind of tried to do a little bit. It just putting them both together didn't really work for me anyway. So,
fair enough.
I guess out of my rating system, I would say out of $2.99, I would give this give it $2.01.
Man, the way you talk about things sometimes, like I was expecting much lower than that.
Yeah, I think it's just not the originality for me is a doc. I feel like they really misused some of the characters, mostly because I really do think that Jane Levy is a force in all the other things I've seen her in. I've really enjoyed her, and in this one I just didn't care, and I kept trying to like it, and I didn't like it. But yeah, I mean it's not terrible. It's a little bit under 70%, so 68%, something like that.
Pretty good for you.
Yeah.
Of course, it's sex for me. Big old wet rain.
Big
70,000 blood rain. Big wet rain. Yeah.
Blood rain.
Yeah.
Well, seems like honestly a bad thing, but that's fine.
Well, pain and pleasure indivisible.
On to the last.
Evil Dead Rise.
2023 Evil Dead Rise. Still dead, still evil. That's what they should have called it.
Still
evil, still dead. Yep.
Yeah.
So the synopsis for this is a twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they faced the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Written and directed by Lee Cronin.
They weren't that estranged.
What?
They weren't that estranged. They just hadn't talked in a while.
They just hadn't talked for a while. They were estranged.
Strange. Well, you say estranged. It seems to me like you haven't talked to each other in years and years, and you have no idea. I guess they didn't have the fullest idea what was going on with each other, but it wasn't like. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, I suppose, is it?
It's mostly there. Mostly there.
There. So we got a whole new setting for this one. I believe this is not considered to be a revamp. I read an interview with Bruce that the explanation for it was in Army of Darkness, when he goes to the cemetery to get the Necronomicon to go home, there's 3 sets of Necronomicons. And like I said, it's pretty good retconning here. But so apparently to allow the story to make some sort of sense, or an attempt to let it make sense, due to Army of Darkness and the 3 Necronomicons, there's 3 Necronomicons in the world, and this just happens to be one of them, and this is the story of it being found. Does that make sense?
I guess so.
Yeah, it's pretty loose. I'll give you that. That's for sure.
Yeah. I do like Alyssa Sutherland, the actress. Yeah. I thought she was a good cast for this. She's from I know her from Vikings.
Oh yeah.
But I thought she did a great job with like just the creepy, bloody smile. And evidently, to get in the character and the mindset for that, she took inspiration and watched Jim Carrey's performance as Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But she really has that like triangular, sinister, menacing smile down.
Yeah.
The poster for it, I thought was good. Was Mommy Loves You to Death. So,
and she did. She does.
Yeah, and she did. So it's this. I do like that it followed the kind of one room ish horror, the way that the cabin did. Like there's not a lot of places to run. They're in I don't know what city.
Good parallel.
Complex of LA.
It's LA. So
they're in this apartment building. The Roots come back into the elevator, do the same thing, kind of thing, where you're like, oh, that's weird. And then a lot of creepy things happen. So
it's a great synopsis, man.
I mean, I got lines that I honestly don't know what to call the synopsis. Like they open on a scene that doesn't happen until the end. It's a weird bookend. So the movie itself.
What do you think of that title card, huh?
I mean, it was very, like, when that happened, I was like, well, here we go again. Same cabin, same woods, same idiots camping.
Yeah, well, that's what they wanted you to think.
But then they go to L.A., and, like, it seemed like a different film. And I think part of it is just that they're using the title to get people to show up. The title card with the body over the water, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And at the end of it, you're like, God, there's going to be a sequel.
Well, probably.
There probably will. But I think that, like, so it's just this. There were elements of that when they're talking, I was like, that didn't need to be in there, but that's every movie. So the same thing happens. It's just in an LA apartment or like a high-rise, I guess, apartment instead of a cabin. Yeah. And it's instead of a bunch of horny teens, it's a mother and her 3 children, and then her sister comes in, who's also pregnant. But you don't find that out until later. And then they go to this other room that the 2 older children are in, and one of them takes something and the other sibling's like, why would you do that? And then same as all the other idiot campers, they start opening this literal flesh teeth bound book.
Hold on there, man.
Yeah,
there was an earthquake. The kids went out to get some pizza so that the sisters could talk because they were estranged apparently. And while they're gone, they come back into the apartment complex. There's an earthquake and it opens up a crack. Apparently, this apartment building was built on an old bank vault, and the earthquake opened up a hole into the bank vault. The boy climbs in. He finds the Necronomicon and a recording. Have we seen it before? We have.
We have seen it more than once. But also, I feel like I shouldn't need to say this even to children. In an earthquake, because they had gone out for pizza, right? Like they went out.
Yep.
Then the earthquake happened, and they run for the parking garage.
They were in it.
But I mean, they could have easily, like, they ran further into it. They could have easily just gone outside.
They panicked.
Idiots.
Idiots.
But I mean, again, I shouldn't have to say this. Like, don't open a book that's bound with its own teeth.
Yep, that's...
Pried it open.
Well, he was...
Tooth catches him, catches the finger, blood on the book, absorbed into the book comes to life, bad things happen.
I liked that, yeah.
Yeah.
So... Well, he wanted to see if it was valuable because his mom needed money. The husband left. Maybe he could trade that in to Venkman's, or to whatever the name of Dan Aykroyd's occult books store.
That's right. Give my best to the Coven.
Yeah.
That would be funny. That would be really funny. I tell you, I mean, I know Raimi didn't. I don't know if it says Rami. I don't know. I know he didn't direct this. Didn't even really have anything to do with this. But after watching this and the other movies, I feel like he should make a Constantine.
Okay.
I think
sure.
I think he would do, like, rather than make an Evil Dead again, or Eviler Deader 3, just make a Constantine.
Yeah, sure. I can see it. I think he'd do all right. Seems right up his alley, actually.
Yeah. Like they say Dead by Dawn. Like there's a lot of things, like they do a lot of reference things. I did really like the line, like the brainless meat puppet. But also when the boys come early on in the movie, they're like, we're watching all the Freddys in a row, even the shitty ones. And then the little kid says, that's what the little kid says, and then the older one says, there are no shitty ones.
There are no shitty ones.
I laughed pretty good at that. Yep.
He's wrong, but I think once they finally start turning, they have some pretty good quotes. The mom, right when she's full on, before she dies and comes back, she's cooking some eggs in a cast iron, and she's just throwing the eggs in there, acting obviously strange. And she's recounting a dream she has, and she says, all I could think about was how I wanted to cut up your bodies and crawl inside you so we could stay one big happy family. I don't know. I think that's a great line, Zeke.
It is. I thought she was a great villain. I thought all the acting in it was solid. Like, I really liked the little girl. The sister was good. They have the same, I assume, the same record playing. Torum de Mantra, January 24th, year of our Lord, 1923.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's Bruce Campbell reading on the record.
I don't know. It didn't really sound like him to me, but could be.
He didn't sound like him to me either, but he is listed in the cast. So,
well, I could have.
Dissenting voice on recording is what he's credited as.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's the only time I could think of, unless it's like on the, it says on recording, and it's not like the radio broadcast of the earthquake. So that's what made me think of that.
Yeah,
it's not playing Ash. It's just a voice.
Yep. Well, they could have altered it somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would, but
But I mean, then they like it's a different kind of, it's the same and different kind of villainy. It's like there's a 3-headed Hydra that they're trying to make the family become or something, or like they don't stop at 3. I guess that 3 is just.
So what this one and the last one do is they start like Necronomicon in 81 doesn't really have, I mean, other than setting things in motion, that's about it. And of course, you burn it. But in 13 and this one, there's apparently rules and like certain phases of things. You know, in 13, you know, they needed the 5 and what have you, and you have certain ways you could bring them back to life, bury them, burn them, dismember them, and then in this one, they also
oil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it showed the mom, you know, like how she would be. She gets them, you know, they do their version of the famous horror scene with the elevator cables, and then the older sister, I'm not exactly sure what that was, but she turns into like a Cthulhu type, or the photo in the Necronomicon anyways looked like a Cthulhu type thing, and then she starts floating around like a ghost, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. There were some cool elements. I mean, they had the same clock again.
Yeah,
clock. I love that clock. I thought that the blood in the elevator was very, very much Shining-esque.
Yeah, it was. There was a shotgun, I guess. Just so people know, it ends up being this pregnant sister and the youngest daughter are the only 2 survivors. Everyone else in the apartment building is, except for one, of course, Zeke's favorite character, is killed and is turned. So it's Auntie Beth and I forget her name, but they're trying to survive, and they make it to the elevator, and then it fills with blood, and it goes down, opens up, and they're back in the parking garage.
Yep, and then the parking garage is where they go full on Fargo to win the fight.
There's a wood chipper, yep.
And then
the Necronomicon said that I don't know, all the Deadites, demons, whatever, turned into some sort of amalgamation. They're all stuck together and chasing them down, and Auntie Beth finds a chainsaw
just in the parking garage.
Well, there was a wood chipper there, so you know
that's
reasonable that they're
reasonable that there would also be a chainsaw. Yeah.
Pushes them in. What are the quotes? Says swallow this motherfucker or something. She had something.
And then you think it's over, but it's not, because then the beginning wraps around to where the girls that go camping, one of them.
Yeah, so this was the beginning that we're talking about it starts with the cabin with 2 girls that are cousins and the boyfriend. One of the girls isn't feeling good. Anyway, she was a Deadite. And what Zeke is talking about, it's almost over, and then this girl that's the Deadite from the beginning walks out of the apartment. She slept through the whole thing, didn't hear a thing. She's going through the parking garage, covered in blood, doesn't notice a thing until she does, and then apparently she gets turned and goes to the lake.
Goes to the lake with the cabin, and the brainless meat puppet is her boyfriend, and then the cousin is there, and she doesn't want to be there, and then the brainless meat puppet's flying a drone, and I think at some point is masturbating into the lake. I'm not entirely sure.
I didn't catch that, but sure, I'll buy it.
I mean, he's standing at the end of the dock with his VR goggles on, and he was just acting weird.
Oh.
I don't quite.
Yeah, he probably.
I don't quite know what was going on there. It's a weird thing, and I didn't care to rewind.
Yeah, you're probably
right. Yeah, I don't care. And then you get the opening title sequence is where the movie starts, and then it's also where the movie ends. So
yeah, possible sequel spot.
I would imagine, yeah, or at least the opening for one.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, overall, what did you think, my friend?
I really thought that Sutherland's performance was really good. I thought she was a very good.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good dichotomy of where I really liked her character, and I wanted I wanted the possibility for her to come through it, even though like it's not going to work out. So she's not really. She's an unwilling villain, I think, is how I would describe it. I really liked that dynamic. I liked that literally no one in it was safe. Like, they were killing the kids.
Yeah.
They were killing each other. You didn't really it wasn't predictable where that was going. I did enjoy that.
Well, good. Glad it had some things for you.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, of course. It's definitely the weakest entry, but I still think, again, if it was a standalone film, I think I would think it was pretty great. It's hard to say without it. It is how it is, so I can't say for sure. But even as it stands with the franchise, I think it's solid. I don't think it's incredible, but I think it's all right. It does justice to the rest.
I think I would have liked both Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise a little bit more if they hadn't been part of just hard remakes, just a money grab with the title. I do think I liked this more just because of Sutherland's performance. I thought she outacted everybody in both movies. Like, she was,
I'll agree with that.
Her performance in this was what I was hoping from Jane Levy in Evil Dead.
Okay.
This one, I felt like Sutherland, and she has she was kind of just she was a notable character in Vikings, but she has like those model striking features. She's very tall, and she used all of that to her advantage in a creepy way in this movie. I thought like she knew where her lines were, like facially, to make it creepy, and then she used her height sinisterly. I thought that she really embraced all of the character that she was given to play with. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
So
I thought the other sister did good too. I can't.
I actually she was very good. I didn't think that she had as much room to play, but I did. Anna Marie Thomas. She doesn't have that many credits, but I thought that she did a really good job in this one. She is just kind of the troubled sister. And I think that was kind of the same thing that Jane, like, they're supposed to be broken. But her character wasn't, like, they were just trying to survive. I think that the possession is what gave Sutherland room to just kind of run amok. And it must be fun being an actor to get in a role like that. Yeah, absolutely. Like that, it's kind of like a Joker type of character where you just get to create the rules. And I thought the kids did a good job too. Like, the little girl she was good, but also the siblings that were able to just be creepy too. They did a fine job. Yeah, it was a believable family dynamic. I thought pretty good chemistry, and then when they were turned, they did well. Yeah. No, I thought it was fun. Well, good. Oh. 1,700 gallons of blood. Not nearly enough. Yeah, I'm ready to rate it if you want me to. Yeah, sure. Go for it. I would say out of $2.99, I'd give it $2.25. Boy, knocked it out of the park this year. You really did. I mean, I feel like it was a trick, mostly because you really don't want to watch Paul Blart, but that's fine. I'm going to keep holding it over your head. One of these years, you're going to have to. One of these years, you're going to put in some ridiculous movie that not even the director or writer liked, and I'm going to bring back Paul Blart. That's it. I'm blarted. Yeah. You're going to blart me. Sex or the Saw, I'm giving it sex. I didn't write this one down, but it's got to be... help me out, Zeke. Give me something. What do you... 170 gallons, 170,000 gallons of blood. What? 170,000 gallons of blood. Wow, I mean, you got the record. That's a record sexing. Yeah. I stand by it. You stand behind that rating. I don't care if it makes sense, but I stand by it. hasn't stopped you before. I don't know why it stopped.
No,
me now.
that's right. And it won't stop me now.
Yeah. Well, right on.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. If you did, check them out. If you're looking for something to watch this holiday season, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Always remember, don't be a sucker. It's been a slice. If you need us, just whistle.